So whilst I was spending a bit of time with my daughter this morning, going to the orphanage, we took a coffee and I asked her who would she rather be. And I don't mean to pick somebody, or I'd rather be her. What facet would you rather like to see in yourself? Where do you consider you could find the most happiness, in what variety of person? And she said, well, just a person that's, somewhat more happy than I am from time to time. I'm like, well, that's cool. Because there's no longing or desire to be in anybody else's shoes, just to polish up a little bit, a couple of facets of what we have. And that's a beautiful thing, isn't it? And that way we can just polish a few of the facets, and we can then allow more light in from different trajectories, and then I suppose we can gleam like a 1,000-faceted diamond. She said, well, I suppose you're going to tell me who you. And I went, well, I've been asking myself this question, and in many times in my life I confront myself with this question: how's your life going? Is there any facets of it that you'd like to capitalise on and shrink? And it's kind of like, no. She said to me, I think what you like or benefit from will be just a few more solid people to have the variety of conversation which you like to have. And I'm like, that's a very good point. And that wasn't something that I would have said, because I would have said, like, I'm cool, I'm good, there's nothing I want to change. I do have, a few people in my life who I can hold interesting conversations with, and I'm always harbouring a certain reservation about having others. And you see, as much as I promote the idea of more comments and involvement, I couldn't find the time for it, and really it isn't my desire, because these conversations that I hold with a certain few, they are pretty exhausting. They go on indefinitely. The only thing that prevents them from going on forever is humanisms, that we do get tired, we get thirsty, we get hungry, we need to use the bathroom, and these sort of things. Throat gets exhausted, and as thrilling and beneficial as these conversations are, they're not the sort of thing you can hold every day. They're exhausting in that, you're taxing and you're thinking and you're exploring, and this burns up a lot of energy. And so then I need to come back. I need to meditate. I need to still the mind and gently contemplate. And so I look at my life and I go, well, I've created my life exactly how I want it to be. And the only change that I would have, is what I said to my daughter, is that I would like the version of me to live in a castle or in a stately home, because I have a great kinship to those sort of places. Every time I visit these places, I'm absolutely at home, with all the stone and the wood and the old trees. I just gotta touch everything and be with everything, and there's an energy, and it's remarkable, and I know that's where my spirit is. And so that's not a likely thing to happen. And I don't even buy lottery tickets, and so that rules that proposition out, the question. And so I suppose then I'll just retain a level of gratitude in my one-bedroom apartment in an old people's complex. Looking at the benefits of an old people's complex is that I'm top dog around there. I've got all the muscles, I've got all the vitality, nobody makes any noise, and it's just like they're not there because there's nobody there. It's just a few husks which hobble by now and again and utter a couple of syllable words like, hello, and that's it. That's about where it ends, people. And so I'm like, well, I can't grumble at that. If I was living in a young person's complex, then of course I'd have different people's music, and when I used to play the guitar all the time, people had to listen to that, and it's kind of like, well, what are you going to do? I mean, I want to play the guitar. It's my own apartment, and if people can hear it, through the walls a little bit, and if the window's open, well, it's just something that we have to accept and put up with, living in the community. And once in a blue moon, the old geezer downstairs from me, he gets pissed and he puts on his old school music, and I can hear him. It's kind of quaint, but it very rarely happens, and so it's a level of perfection. So what I'm saying is do you have a level of perfection? What or who would you rather be? What can you see yourself as being? What are you working yourself towards being? Are you presently shedding a skin and evolving like a snake or like a caterpillar from an existing skin? What's going on? Do you ever think about that? How many of you have the freedom and the cognition to contemplate on such things? What would my life be if I was living in another country? What would my life be if I was a business owner, or if I worked for this person, or if I had this as a hobby? All these different sorts of things. And this is what I've done all my life, and this is why I've chosen to travel extensively, wearing different hats, doing all different sorts of things. I'm working in the gold mines, working on an Aboriginal settlement, working as a scuba diving instructor, doing my own stuff as a builder or entrepreneur here and everywhere, working for a millionaire yacht charter company, and just doing really cool things. And so yeah, other than me being or living in a Rothschild mansion, I wouldn't make any changes. How many people could say that? I mean, it's took me many years to work my way towards this. I've tried all the different stuff, people. I've tried being a business owner, and I've tried, for short periods of my life, working for other people in the early days. And, I've done all the chasing of the women, and the chasing of the money, and the chasing of the material things, and none of it was satiating in the slightest. It's just kind of like something that you do as a young person. I was just doing what other people do, what young people do. What level of satisfactions, other than all the wonderful places I've travelled in my life? Probably not a lot. And so, what would you change? What would you see yourself? Can you actually envision yourself as another you in another environment? Maybe your spirit was born into a Rothschild family, or royalty, or something of this nature. How would you feel? How would you act? What would your interests be? And so then I said to my daughter, I said, well, look, in my life, ever since I was 15 years old, I've exercised in some shape or form, many, many different varieties. I'm always going to do that, and I'll always need to find the time to do that at my leisure. Not just like, oh, when I finish work at 5:30, here and there. No, when I feel like it. I've always liked to read. I've always liked to, watch interesting documentaries and debates and things like that. Always like to spend a lot of time in nature, being a naturalist, mycologist, botanist, treologist, whatever. Just studying the natural world and being with it and enjoying it. What else? Meditating. Very important to meditate, people. To have the leisure to be able to slip into a meditation whenever you feel like it. And with me, that happens these days around about midnight. Before I go to bed, I'll do half an hour or an hour's meditation in the stillness and darkness of the night. And some stage in the daytime, I'll do the same, usually when I've been reading, and then there's something that I need to contemplate, and so I'll just close my eyes and slip into it and gently mull that over and just let whatever is going to manifest out of that just drift around, and then see what comes out of it, and then open your eyes and start again. And so all of these hedonistic pursuits of a king doing exactly what he wants to do whenever he wants to do it. I mean, I don't even think a king would have that privilege. There's always obligations. The king's got to do this. The king's got to lead by example. The king's got to, go to this venue, and the king's got to put on this show. I don't have to do nothing. Never, ever. I don't have to do anything. I'm absolutely free, as far as we can be free as human beings. And if you are free from your mind, and if you can stop the nonsensical chatter and you can just be, then that's what it is to be really free. So, do any of you have anything to say on that?